You're listening to The Shift Show with Adriana Bucci. I'm a narcissistic abuse recovery coach and the person who's going to tell you what everyone else is too polite to say. We're talking all things narcissists, narcissistic parents, toxic relationships, the aftermath, and what healing actually looks like. And no, you are not the crazy one. Let's dive into it. Well, hello, my long lost podcast. I don't think I've posted an episode since sometime in 2024. I could be wrong, but I'm back. So that's exciting. And I haven't really announced to anybody that I'm doing my podcast again. So if you're listening to this, you are probably one of the first people to even know that my podcast is back. So, where the hell have I been? Well, I've still been active on Instagram and somewhat active on TikTok and active on Facebook, but I haven't been, really dealing with the podcast that much. Things, life was lifing, and this is totally something that I talk about, right? Like, if you are on your healing journey, it doesn't mean your life is going to be perfect. Like, shit is still going to hit the fan. And did it ever for me? So I'll tell you a little bit of what happened. I don't know how deep into the story I'm going to get. We'll see. But it's something I am finally recovering from. Like, 2025 was one hell of a fucking year for me. Let's just put it that way. And the wildest part, it had nothing to do with narcissists. It actually had everything to do with my now late dog, Frankie. He we got him in 2022 after my soul dog Chewy died. If you've been following me for a long time, you might know about Chewy. He was in a wheelchair. He had his own Instagram page. He was the love of my life. I would have taken a bullet for that dog. He was 13 and a half years old, so he lived his lifespan. But it was the most devastating thing ever, obviously. And then we got another dog named Frankie. And long story short, he turned out to be severely inbred. Like, his parents were full brother and sister, and there were multiple generations of inbreeding. So he was very neurologically damaged, and his behavior was extremely unpredictable. So everything was sort of okay. Like, I always felt something was off about him, even as a puppy. And he bit me for the first time shortly after he got neutered. And another red flag was that his neutering ended up being an abdominal surgery because his marbles never dropped. And yeah, he bit me in the neck when we were putting ointment on his scar. But we figured, okay, he's in pain. That scared him. Whatever. Right in the jugular, could have died. No big deal, right? Like, this is what we do with our abusers. We always give them the benefit of the doubt. But this obviously was a dog. So, like, I'm a very, or I was a very much crazy dog lady type person, and very much like, you don't give up on your dog, which, I built my last dog a wheelchair. So, you know, I wasn't just going to give up on this dog. We put him in training immediately. We put him on medication as well. And we had like a little bit of a grace period, I guess you could say. In January of 2024, he bit me in the face, and my upper lip, like my face, was open like a lotus flower. I still have the scar. I had to get stitches. I was extremely traumatized. I am still traumatized, and I get to have that stupid reminder every single day when I look in the mirror. You may or may not notice the scar in my videos, but I hide it, I think, pretty well with makeup. But yeah, we kept trying, training, behaviorists, upped his meds, all the things, because, you know, again, that's just what you do. And I kind of was thinking, like, after he bit me in the face, like, maybe behavioral euthanasia is the the way to go here. But I mean, the vet hadn't recommended it. I was still, for some fucked up reason, willing to keep trying. And we did have a grace period from, from when he bit my face until everything just unraveled worse and worse. And in February 2025, he bit my hand. I had to go to physio for 3 months. My grip is still not back to normal. And, I have lost count of the number of times I've been bitten. I have scars all over my arms. My husband got bit as well. He's got a few permanent scars. He started to bite my father in law. It was a whole thing. And the behaviorist and the vet at this point said, we need to do behavioral euthanasia. So it was scheduled 2 days before. Somebody swooped in with a solution of the dog's going to live on my farm. Don't you dare put him down, blah, blah, blah. I knew it wouldn't work, but there were some people in my husband's family who I will not identify who would have never forgiven me if I didn't go this route. So I said only on the condition that he signs a contract that states that, he's aware of all the problems. He knows the dog is severely inbred. He knows that I had to seek medical attention for his unpredictable behavior and his bites and all that. And he agreed to sign this contract. So, you know, all was said and done. And exactly 2 weeks later, exactly what I said would happen happened. He was put down anyways. I have no details, no ashes, no closure. And however, I was okay. But 2 weeks after that, I live in a high rise and everyone in my building has a dog. And I had a panic attack in the elevator because there was a dog and I couldn't leave my house for weeks. So, I got my ass on medication. I started EMDR therapy and I spent the better part of the entire year of 2025 just pretty much trying to function. So that's kind of where I was. So hopefully that story didn't traumatize you too much. Hopefully I don't have too many judgy dog people listening to this, but sometimes some dogs are just not okay for this world and it just is what it is. And I don't know if I will ever get a dog again. The EMDR really helped with my fear of dogs. I'm able to pet them again. I'm able to tolerate them around me, but will I ever have it in me to, you know, have a dog in my apartment again? I don't know. And right now, it's probably a no, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, here we are. I am back. I've been, rebuilding my life. I got super sick over New Year's of 2026, so that kind of delayed me a bit as well. But we are now in late March of 2026. I am feeling so much better from everything. And let's rock and roll. Let's start the podcast again. So, pretty much most of my episodes are going to be just me rambling because that seems to be what a lot of people like to listen to for whatever reason. I may have a guest here and there, but if you are listening to this and you are a manager of somebody who wants to be on my podcast, chances are it's probably going to be a no. Just the whole scheduling thing and all that, it gets a little chaotic and, whatever. In terms of schedules for this podcast, I don't know that I will be having like a specific day of the week when an episode drops. I'm just kind of getting back into this however I'm doing it. Like I'm just imperfectly getting back into this. If I end up having multiple episodes scheduled or what's it called, recorded, maybe I will, schedule them in like a weekly fashion or something like that. But right now, the episodes drop whenever they drop, take it or leave it. And still me, still unfiltered. And I'm just going to record when the inspiration hits. And, I feel like the chaos I went through in the last 18 months or so gave me probably a lot more to say. And, it's, we'll see how this podcast goes. We'll see what happens as I publish episodes. But yeah, I didn't stop being a coach. I was still coaching clients. I will add my link into the show description notes if anyone's interested in working with me. I have not stopped that. I'm still living this material, still, recognizing narcissists. I've got a few stories about that too, so we'll have some episodes on that. And I do have a new coaching program coming in mid to late April called the Shift Program. So if you're interested, you can go to that same link that will be in my description and feel free to get on the wait list. And yeah, if you have stuck around for the whole time that this podcast has existed, welcome back. If you just found this, welcome. And, feel free to binge listen to all the previous episodes. I think there's like 65 of them or something crazy like that. But yeah, more episodes are coming. I am officially back. And I had a pretty good reason for having fucked off for so long because that was quite the experience in my life. I don't know if I'll ever feel comfortable getting more in depth into that whole story about Frankie, but that was the gist of it. It is what it is. I'm healing, I'm getting better. I'm going to stop rambling. That's the end of episode 1 of season whatever this is of this podcast. So stay tuned. The next episode will be up whenever it's up. And yeah, see you later.